Welcome back for another episode of Future Tech, and always remember to invest in yourself before you invest in any other company. Sounds like a no-brainer, but a lot of people do tend to forget it. In this week's episode, we'll be taking a look at some of the companies run by the techno king of Tesla, aka the meme lord himself. Elon Musk runs several successful companies, and I won't be talking about every single one of them, but I will be sharing a few of them that I see are really making some great moves at the moment. What Elon Musk seems to do, one of his very strong points, is that he chooses the most complex, the most difficult problems that he sees needs a solution, and he usually gets people telling him no, you cannot do it. And I think he just takes his own capital, he goes out and he makes it happen, and that's why he has attained a certain level of success, and he has such a following of different groups of people. He just picks the hardest problems facing humanity and sets about solving them even in the face of despair. And these are very unique problems, okay? I want you to bear that in mind. He picks the hardest problems and he solves them even in the face of despair. Very crucial to the plan. Now, the reason I like these companies is because they have such a simplified mission statement, a simplified objective that they work towards, and I think that's why they're so successful, because they just take one of these simplified goals and objectives and they just drive towards it. Now, in the beginning of the company's inception, you're not going to know exactly how the exact roadmap. I know where I want to get to. I do not know exactly how I'll get there, but I just set about doing it. First one on the list I'll be talking about is Neuralink. Now, I'll take you to the website. Okay, so we'll take a look at Neuralink's website quickly, and then I'll talk about some of the things I see coming for the future. You can look at that website, very simple interface. I like the use of the neutral colors, and it does attract your eye to the main parts of their website. So you can see science, approach, application, and you can see where it uses Fig 1, Fig 2, Fig 3. So this is the kind of thing I would have done when I was writing my reports back then. But I want to take you to something I saw a few days ago. Now I cannot remember exactly where to find it, but I will find it. Okay, so let's take a look at what they're actually doing. So they're trying to come up with a way to interface with the brain. And it's a very tiny device that they can implant into, cut a hole in the skull and just implant that and set up an interface. So you can see what the device actually looks like, and the way they've thought about some of the solutions for charging the device and how it can actually transmit those electronic signals to the receiver. So they have thought about how this would actually work, and you can see here it highlights precision automated neurosurgery. And if you think about the fundamentals of what they're actually trying to solve, is they're trying to enable people who otherwise wouldn't be able to interface with the world a way to do so in the most simplified way possible, without limiting their physical inabilities. So they want to enable people to be able to use their limbs again. For example, say they've had a damage in their spine, and this Neuralink will be able to send those signals from the brain to other parts of the body, or even to interface with external parts in the real world, the physical world. That's big, because it means that they'll be able to respond quicker to changes to the device that they're interfacing with than we can physically interact with that device using our own hands. Because the brain, if you think about how the brain sends off signals to muscles and so on in the body, anyways, don't want to get too much into the science of it. I did biology, so I'm a big nerd when it comes to understanding the way the human body works and so on. So I'll leave it there. Now, what I really want to show you is the last experiment, and I think it's in the application section where they actually talk about this. Maybe not, I'll take it to the blog. And the monkey mind pong is the thing that really fascinated me so much, because in this video the monkey was actually interfacing with the pong device. So he was using a joystick at first, and there's a feeding tube where he's actually getting, I think it's a smoothie, some kind of liquefied drink that he's getting through there, and he's really working on figuring out how to get the smoothie to come through the tube. And I'll just skip ahead to something quite remarkable. So that monkey has a chip in his brain, and you can see the neurological waves being picked up by the receiver in real time. And in this part of the video you can see he's actually interfacing with the Pong game interface without using the joystick, because you can see in the video the joystick is actually disconnected. So he's actually moving it with his mind, but he thinks he was using it. And in this one you can see they've removed the joystick completely, so he's interfacing with the game just by thinking about it. And you can see a little bit of the scalp cutaway where they implanted the Neuralink. So yeah, this is quite remarkable. Now, people might be thinking, okay, why would they want to do this? And you can start thinking of some of the negative uses of this technology, but I think it's important to not lose sight of what's really important, and that's to drive us forward. Yes, we do need to leverage technology to drive us to where we need to be in the future, because if we do not, we cannot then make those groundbreaking advances to understanding as much as we can about every living thing on planet Earth. Now, there are lines that should be drawn, but we need to figure out how these technologies actually work so we can know exactly where to draw the line. Anyway, on to the next story, because there's quite a lot that I do have to cover. Next one on the list is Starlink. As a quick overview, it is a company owned by SpaceX. I won't get into what SpaceX is, do your own research on that one. But Starlink effectively is going to enable people in the most remote parts of the world to be able to get internet coverage. So I think it's at the subterranean level. So they deploy these satellites into space, and there will end up being several, maybe several tens of thousands to several hundreds of thousands of them in the atmosphere at some point. Now, the one thing I do like is that they have thought about how they can actually minimize the additional light that some of these satellites will be bouncing off into space and really affecting the beautiful skyline. I think they do talk about it on their page, so they're really thinking about some of these problems. You can get some of the technical details from on the website as well. They've made it as simple and easy to set up and to deploy as possible. Okay, and if you look at this image here, it says ideal for rural and remote communities. So that really means that it enables the people who might not have had internet previously to be able to get internet access to do the things that they need to do in this modern world. Of course, with everything else, there are drawbacks. It can affect the night sky, the way we see the night sky, because we have a lot of when we look up into the sky now, we look at things and we think those are actually stars, and they're not. Turns out they're satellites in a lot of cases. So they have really sat down with some of the leaders in this space, some of the astronomers, etc., and they've thought about ways they can create better engineering to counter some of these challenges. And at the bottom, as I mentioned before, all of this technology is being done by SpaceX. And SpaceX, in my opinion, is going to be the future driver in completely changing the way humans interact with the universe. We're going to at some point become an interplanetary species, and that really is going to be the next phase of where we think us as future technology space lookers, we think that these technologies are going to really change the future, the way we invest in companies, etc. Right? So there's a lot coming that we don't even think about, but these guys are actively thinking about solving these problems. Okay, and they're engineering new materials all the time, like the Cybertruck uses some of the crossover from the material science that they've done at SpaceX. Anyways, another jam-packed one. I am always excited. Maybe I can do a video on breaking some of these companies down individually and just bring some of the deeper information to you guys. Anyways, if you've liked what I've been saying so far, please drop a like. Feel free to drop a comment to ask me a question about any one of these companies, something that I can see coming in the future, whatever it is that comes to your mind and you feel like I can give an answer to it. Also, feel free to subscribe to my channel, set the notification bell as well, so you can get the notifications when I drop any of these great videos. Future Tech is my personal favorite series to do. It always gets me so excited to learn about different technologies. Next one on the list, the biggest, the most exciting company in my own personal opinion, the one and only TSLA, Tesla.